Welcome to Golden Heart Alchemy. I'm Chelsea. I am so happy to connect with all of you divine beings here with me in this collective. My intention is just to speak from the heart, share messages to heal you, me, this collective. I only have the highest good in mind for everything that I speak into existence. And I ask that you take what resonates and leave the rest for someone else. So, I do want to share with you an energy I've been working through lately that you may likely as well also be working through, as I think most of us recognize how we mirror each other. And I'll start off by sharing my definition of spirituality, which is just the exploration of self to remember who we are as ancient, divine, wise souls who have so much to share and give to this world. I think a lot of us here specifically are light workers, so we have a mission to really step into that leadership role, share our voice, share our divine gifts to heal and elevate all of society. So I am feeling really, and I'm getting some full body chills as I say that. So love that confirmation. Thank you, Spirit. Um, but yeah, so I just wanted to preface like, what do I even mean by spirituality? For me, I feel like this past year has been super, super impactful in my journey. I feel like I just have been quantum leaping left and right, and it's been amazing. It's been confusing. It's been tiring. It's been amazing, enlightening, all the things, right? Um, there's such a fine balance with it all because we are also human and live in this day-to-day reality where we have to take care of our needs in that regard. So we have to take care of our mind, body, soul, like all of it. Um, so it's not an easy task being on this spiritual journey and devoting yourself in this way. And I myself am brand new to sharing my voice in this way, and my journey with self expression has definitely been a journey. I briefly will share I had a very unconventional upbringing where my father passed away when I was 4 months old. At age 5, his mother, our paternal grandma, my siblings, and I got custody of us. Our mother had some mental health barriers that didn't make it safe for us to be with her, and we still had a relationship in different cities. It was a whole thing, just not your conventional upbringing. So I, from a young age, fell into kind of a caretaker archetype, and I also really unknowingly made myself small. I thought it was my external world making me small, but it was my reaction to the external world where I was choosing to make myself small to feel safe. And so my whole journey has been like healing those wounds and finding out who is authentic Chelsea, who am I? And I have never felt more empowered in myself than I do sitting here today. And I've I feel like I've put in a lot of work for that. So I'm so grateful. And for those of you who are connected to me, I imagine you have had a very trying life too in various ways where you've been kind of pushed to your limits to ascend, and here you are. So congratulations. You may have been seeing a lot of feathers lately, as there's one right behind me there. I would love if this place was my home, but I am in an Airbnb and there's been so many amazing signs and synchronicities in this magic barn. It's literally the name of it, Magic Barn. But yeah, lately you may have been working a lot with your root chakra, so feeling into that red energy, looking at personal trauma, family, ancestral trauma, and also like how do you stay just for your own chakras, how do you stay balanced in your root chakra while you're also looking at doing all of this deep healing for not only you but for your family in this physical life and for your ancestors beyond. So that there's a lot of energy there. So it's very important to stay grounded and balanced, and that is the constant lesson I'm being reminded of. um, Gold may also be a synchronicity for you. So this was a synchronicity for me, seeing this beautiful artwork with gold and red and feathers and other signs and synchronicities embedded in the details. But gold is, I mean, I've named this channel Golden Heart Alchemy for a reason. I I feel like I've been called in my professional career to lead from the heart, and that's led me to step up in various different ways that was never in my own realm of imagination of what I was going to be doing for work, but through building confidence as I've listened and followed my intuition, here I now am in this opportunity to be a leader. And we can be a leader from any chair we're sitting in, regardless if you have a job, if you don't have a job, you are a leader. And by following your intuition, you're tapping into that leadership. And I feel like a lot of us now have been called to really step into action and not put our intuition on the back burner anymore. It's not a clear path. Listening and following your intuition, it takes a lot of dedication and determination and getting to know yourself, getting to know your higher self, meditating, asking for guidance, asking for signs, synchronicities, etc. Like there's that, and then there's the hard work, which is like looking at transmuting pain into purpose. Like that alchemy is a lot, and it's also so rewarding, and it can become like exciting too, like a game, like, ooh, I've like healed that wound, I've healed this wound, what's next? And it's like, no, 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 like there's so many layers to everything because everything is everything, right? How straightforward is that, right? It's not. um so that came up for me today, and that's what this channeled message is going to be on, is looking at where are we maybe being a little too overconfident and not being true to ourselves and listening to ourselves. And yeah, I'll share with you in a moment kind of what has been coming through, but I just want to speak more on the different signs and synchronicities and kind of symbolism in this too. So I mentioned feathers. So feathers can be showing up for you. These are a common, not common for all, but commonly known as being a message from spirit. So that might be if you're wanting to invite in more signs and synchronicities, asking for spirit to send you feathers as confirmation of you being in alignment with your highest self, your truest path. We talked about red, the root chakra, personal, family, ancestral trauma, gold, the solar plexus. So, really looking at your personal power. So, where are you being asked to step up? Where are you being asked to step back and find that balance to better integrate and honor yourself? Are you leading from the heart? You know, there's that term, heart of gold. Um, yeah, are you leading from the heart? And with that, like, are you listening to your intuition? Are you making decisions that's caring for yourself and caring for others? Are you leading from that kind of mentality? We did just have the 9/9 portal on September 9th. So looking at end of cycles. So again, like maybe cleaning up some personal family ancestral trauma that's kind of been in plain sight that you've been overlooking, and it's saying, hey, now's the time to clean this up and work through this energy. Blue light beings or the blue light flame could be significant for you. Blue also represents the throat chakra, so using your voice, um, admitting your own truth to yourself, and recognizing when you're not being authentic to self. And that is so layered because how you speak to others might be authentic, but how you're speaking to yourself might not be in the highest good and authentic to who you truly are deep down. Or it could be you agreeing to do XYZ for someone when your body, mind, spirit is saying, I need a break. Like, I can't. But you want to people please. You want to be in that caretaker archetype. You don't want to be, you are in that still and working through that. So looking at how you're being called to be more authentic in how you're showing up for yourself and others. Um, some songs that have been really speaking to me, and particularly today, and it's tied to the channeled message, but Scout Willis, several songs over and over is amazing. That song to me really spoke to what I was working through today, where I felt like I had healed a wound, or I didn't realize that it was a wound, a new layer to a wound that was right in front of me, and all of a sudden it was just like right in my face and I had to confront it. Um so that could be coming up for you too, like feeling like it's like you feel so aligned in so many ways. Like you feel like you are following your intuition, but there's this little voice in the background that's not quite in alignment, and you can't really like identify what's that voice saying, until you're just at a certain point it's just very obvious in your face, like today for me. Um So, yeah, I guess because I do want to tie these songs into the message, because I feel like the songs were just a divine message for me and for this energy that I and you are likely working through. But really, today, within a blink of an eye, I realized how I have some I have some wound cleanup to do with my father. He, passed when I was a baby, and I was told by peers growing up that I was in a way lucky that I didn't know him, because then I didn't have to experience that grief of losing him. And that was so I grew up, hearing that mainly from peers, not necessarily like family, but just hearing that messaging really made me question what my relationship to grief looked like with my dad, and made me feel like I didn't have the right to grieve him because I didn't have any memory of him. And that was a whole journey in itself, just getting to recognize 100% I have the right to grieve him. I grieve every day of not knowing him in his life and in my life. it's been 31 years I've lived without having him here physically with me. And I don't know, what his tics were as a person, what his quirks were. I have a few stories from family and a few photos, not a whole lot. So a lot is up to my imagination, honestly. Um, but, I mean, just your standard things that are the norms in our culture, society, being there for birthdays, to celebrate me at track events, to celebrate me at graduation. Um, I was the first person in my family to get a college degree, the only person to get a college degree, let alone a master's degree. Him not being there for those accomplishments or achievements, not being there for the day to day, like all the things, or in the future, like at my wedding or, with my grandchildren or his grandchildren rather. So it's a lot. And I was reminded today how, like, that grief still shows up and will show up, and that's okay. Like, I just need to sit with those feelings that are coming to surface and allow them to teach me what I need to learn. So that came through, and whew, I'm getting tired. Guys, I've tried to record this like 5 times and I keep having tech issues. So I'm a little, I'm at my last leg here, but I'm committed to posting this. So here I am. But yeah, so some of you may be finding that an old wound has resurfaced. Some of you may have lost a loved one, a romantic partnership, a job. Take it how it resonates for you and your situation, but this could have been like an old wound that, you thought like you've done the work, like you're good, and you're finding yourself surprised to see like it's right here in front of you to work through again. Um, so you could be going through um, cycles of where it's like that song I was referencing by Scott Willis over and over. It's like, you're like, oh, I'm doing this again and again and again, revisiting this past grief. And it's like, yes and no. It's like you're being introduced to a new layer, a new aspect of that grief. And when you think about, the spiral upward of ascension, and that's clicking for me now too, it's like with grief, with joy, with any emotion, there's no limit, you know, everything is everything all at once. Like that amazing film that's so like, yes. um, but it's never ending, and finding the beauty in that and the adventure in that. Growing up with different hardships, I experienced the pain in those moments, feeling scared, sad, isolated, all the things, but by my little divine will, I always tried to find the silver lining in the situation. Like what from this hardship, like what good has come from this? What lessons, what teachings has come from this? And to try to, yeah, just recognize like the offerings that come from hardship. And when you start to recognize that, then you start to be grateful for the hardship because you see that it's just as necessary to find value and gratitude in the darkness as it is in the lightness. It's my whole life has really been like looking at yin and yang energy and how to come in alignment with that to be spiritually aligned. And for me, like this past year, I feel like I have just like elevated, elevated, elevated. And some of you may feel it too, like my intuition, like when I am like in alignment, things will literally be in alignment. It's like I'll be thinking of something, I'll look up and it's like right there. Or it's just like even the little things, like I'm thirsty, I need water. I gave that example. I looked up, my water is right dead center, third eye, right in alignment, way over there. And I'm not going to get up right now, but I see you. I'll be there. I know I need to self care. Again, constant reminders for self too. But yeah, so just start to, if you haven't already, like start like kind of figuring out what is my relationship to my higher self? What is my relationship to my intuition? How do I know when I'm being nudged from my intuition, from the universe? What does that feel like? I also have a lot of like sensations. I'm sure you also do. There's the different clairs. I personally have claircognizant where it's just like you just like know things, and it's also like a mystery to you, like, well, why do I think this? And then you go down this rabbit hole. Um so claircognizance. I also have, oh gosh, I can't think of all of them. But the feeling, the sensations, I have that too, and I have had that since I was a kid and I didn't know. It's like when it's not common knowledge or like commonly spoken about, like spirituality, all the things, you can have fear that comes from these different things you're experiencing. So really coming to terms and like looking at what, and this is helpful for me as I'm talking, I'm like, ooh, like what shame am I maybe still holding on to about my perception of like experiencing presence like I do. But yeah, really, I just invite you, I invite myself as I'm getting tingles, my confirmation tingles, thank you, Spirit, is to just spend time reflecting, like, what does my intuition feel like in my body, in my senses, in my knowing? Like, what does that look like? So I can more intentionally take action when my intuition is saying, hey, do that thing, do this thing, because that's your highest path. And that's, I think most of us want to live our life purpose and follow our life's path. And our intuition is here. Our intuition is just our higher self guiding us in this human existence. That's my take. Of course, we have loved ones, angels, archangels, spirit guides. We have a whole team supporting us and guiding us. And as we invite them in, as we say we receive, as we say, and so it is because it is, um, I am abundance, you are abundance. Like when you really embody that knowing, like things start becoming abundant in your life and provide that much more confirmation that you're on the right path. Um, so yeah, I kind of just went into a little tangent, channel message, call it what you will. I'm just speaking what's coming as truth for me in this moment. So yeah, going back to over and over. So feeling like don't be so hard on yourself and feeling like, oh, this wound is coming up again. Like, what am I not doing right? Like, why is this still coming up? Recognizing and accepting it's coming up because it's a different aspect of the grief. It's a different aspect of the joy for you to experience, for you to transmute, for you to embody. Love Without Possession is another song that I was listening to by Scott Willis. And that was really interesting because at first, when I hear that song, I initially think of like a romantic love, and love is love, and all you need is love. Um, Beatles knew it. Love without possession. So I was reflecting on how am I like tying my identity to like my dad, who I didn't know in this physical form here on earth. I feel so connected to him, thank goodness. Spiritually, like through my spiritual practice, it's like I feel him with me. I know he's with me and protecting me and like a part of my team. But I didn't always know that, and it was very isolating. But love without possession. So how even now am I still attaching like a part of my identity to like what I think our relationship should have, could have, would have been if he were here, if XYZ. How can I learn to accept it for what it is and be grateful for it? And how can I not attach anything? Sorry, I know the lighting's bad. How can I not attach to that desire for painting this elaborate picture of what it could have been? How can I just accept it for what it is and be so grateful because I'm realizing he's with me all the time, because energy cannot be destroyed. We are energy. And looking at how that can cause you anxiety too. So like when you're attaching a part of yourself, your identity to something external from you, that can create anxiety because it's out of your control. And it's like you have to reclaim that. You have to bring your soul fragments back to you to become whole again. Um, so that was really interesting looking at that from the angle of like a father-daughter relationship. Obviously, the song speaks more potently to that romantic, and maybe not, but at least when I listened to it, it felt more like romantic. And how have you shown up in your relationships in that way, your romantic relationships in that way? I know for me, I have, had to work through abandonment wounds, and as I'm learning, I still will in different ways throughout my life. Um, but how have previous wounds shaped how you show up in relationships? Do you have like that anxious attachment style? Do you have that avoidant attachment style? Like, take time to also reflect, like, how are you showing up in your relationships? And how can you, like, reclaim your power in how you show up by not giving yourself away or not, thinking it's like, and I was so guilty of this because I lived in that caretaker archetype for so long. But it's like, how are you giving yourself away versus how are you giving to yourself, which then allows you to give to others? You know, it's like the whole airplane emergency example. You got to put the mask on yourself first and then on your child, which it's like my brain doesn't like that. I want to put it on. I don't have children yet, but just that scenario. It's like that caretaker, it's like, no, I want to like put it on like the littles or the elderly who, may have difficulties or whatever the case, versus myself. And it's like, no, it's like, in order for me to help the most, like I do have to put out myself so that I have, my own security and self to then help all the others. Um, and then also looking at like, how are you, like, she has a song called Shouldn't I Be? And that's kind of speaking to what we were talking about also with like, well, I've done XYZ, like, shouldn't I be this way? Like, I have everything on paper looks good, but why is my life not in alignment? Why do I not feel in alignment or satisfied, or like I feel like something's missing? So really trying to look at what expectations you're putting on to yourself and how that is imposing a limited belief, how that's creating anxiety, ho- how that's having you attached to negative patterns and beliefs. And ultimately, it can make you feel stuck and like you're indecisive. I know for me, a lot of my life, as a teenager, young adult, I was always so indecisive and like looking back and in the moment it even annoyed me. It's like, just what do you want? It's like, listen to yourself. And so if you feel like you're in that pattern of being indecisive, like that might be a cue, like what expectations am I putting on myself? How can I release that and start listening to my intuition and being more in alignment with my authentic self and being more sure of who I am and what I want. Um, and then also, like this is a lot of energy, a lot of work to be doing, and making sure too that you're finding balance through caring connections. So there's the number 14, and yeah, caring connections there. It looks like there's some flowers showing up. I'm not great with flowers. They're not roses. I know that much. But but yeah, maybe flowers are a synchronicity for you. I know for me, I visualize like my crown chakra just like blooming every time, blooming with new flowers every time I feel like I'm ascending. So you may have a similar visual for yourself, for like a representation of your own growth and like how you're, ascending. But yeah, caring connection. So that came up for me today. I am away from home on a work trip and I miss all my fur babies. I have quite a few pets, I'll just say. And they have really shown me unconditional love and allowed me to really recognize that I deserve unconditional love, as do you. And yeah, just looking at what are those caring connections in your life. So it could be pets, loved ones, friends, coworkers, could be your house plants. It could be the tree down the road from you that you visit. I I feel like I've been really tapping into elemental energy the past like 6 months and fairies and just feeling, I just feel the energy and everything. And like when you're experiencing that, like everything is just sacred and you want to learn from everything. And it's like, it's mind blowing because you're like, wow, everything really is everywhere all at once. And there's divine knowings and teachings within it all. So just looking to find connection within yourself and within others, and also recognizing and giving yourself kudos for all the strength that you have. And we have this lion showing up here. I know it's hard to see, guys. I'm sorry. And lion represents Leo. My sun is in Leo and I have a lot of Scorpio in my chart, so a lot of water also. And with my upbringing, I didn't feel like I had that foundation to really authentically express myself throughout my upbringing. I definitely had moments and periods where I did so more than not, but just in summary, like my childhood, that was definitely held back, and me taking accountability also for making myself feel small as part of that healing. But it has been a journey for me stepping into my Leo. I've been, you know, I feel like in the workplace I've referenced that a lot because I went from like supporting individuals directly to stepping into leadership and um, stepping into a big role, quite frankly. And it took me out of my comfort zone. But when you hear everyone around you saying, you're applying right, you're applying right, and it's like, well, yeah. And then it's like when I reflect on it, it's like, well, I have been doing all these other things that was me listening to my intuition, like, do this leadership program, do that thing, do this, do this, do this. And then it all led to, this opportunity. So listening to those nudges, those little signs from the universe, because they're really signs to guide you for your highest good. So as you listen to those things, that's when abundance can really start to come in. I really also want to touch on balance. So we had the angel of balance, number 48, coming through also. So again, my setup here isn't great, so it's hard to see, but we have pyramids, golden pyramids in the background. We have that blue energy, blue light, like we were talking about earlier, coming through. And, this person, this female figure holding up this water, like, I don't know what the term is, but to me, it's like that analogy of like, where's my cup at? Is it full? Is it half full? Am I pouring from a cup when I need to refill my own cup? Am I pouring and giving to someone else when I need to be giving to myself, kind of thing? So really looking at balance. And with, the spiritual journey, we can get in a pattern of just wanting to do the next thing, do the next thing, do the next thing, and not just like being human and listening to our body and like just chilling out and like being okay with not, being this high performer, spiritual quote unquote, because that's part of our spiritual development too, is to be human and to like also listen to our body's needs. And sometimes it can feel like you're getting conflicting messages, like, I need to take action. And then your body's like, no, 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 not yet. It's like you do, but you need to be patient. And that also came through patience. Um, yeah, and she has, it's like this angelic figure, and she has a golden clock that she's holding at her center. So recognizing that time is just an illusion, it's a construct. Past, present, future, it's like presence is everything. So there is no past or present. I know in this 3D reality, we feel that there is, but when we take a step back, just like recognizing everything is happening in divine timing. And so to just like be patient, like don't try to rush it. And this is a message for myself, 100%. Because it can be so fulfilling and exciting to see all the growth and development you're doing. And then it's like reminding yourself, like, you also have to like stay grounded in this process and like through finding balance, being patient, like not rushing things, letting things happen in divine timing as they're meant to for your highest good, things will work out. So that could entail you walking away from some situations also. Like, yeah, if you feel like your energy is being taken away from you, or you're giving your energy away and it's no longer in alignment, like really sitting with that and assessing, like, what shifts do I need to make to be more in alignment? What do I need to walk away from? Is it this relationship, this job? Is it this pattern I have? Is it XYZ? Um, what do I need to do to care for self? And once you start like finding more balance, and you're getting out of this like negative attachment, anxious mentality, you're seeing all the different possibilities. You're seeing the endless, infinite possibilities. And it's like, it kind of regroups you. So through connection and care to self and others, through having strength, resilience, not being so hard on yourself. Yeah, really finding balance. Balance is huge. But that's when abundance comes in, and we have number 42. That's funny. That's the age my dad passed away. And we have a black cat that looks like my kitty cat that I adopted when my grandma passed away. So I'm just seeing in this card synchronicities. There's a purple rose also holding a coin, and this very like regal, kind of abundant looking woman and her cat. And black cats are definitely very spiritual and can be, I mean, there's like, I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I put too much pressure on myself to try to remember, like, ooh, what does like a black cat symbolize? But it's also like not necessarily having that expectation on self for it to mean a certain thing for everyone. Like, it's also like your own interpretation of that thing. So for me, black cats remind me of my grandma, that like connection to my grandmother, to my ancestors, as confirmation that what I'm saying, what I'm feeling is in alignment. This kitty cat looks very much like my cat. So that's sweet. And then 42 being a synchronicity for me. So maybe 42 is a synchronicity for you. It's an important number. Um, yeah, there's a lot there. And also, when you start to receive abundance, knowing that you're being supported to stay in alignment with that. So we have the third chakra archangel Camuel. I'm not as familiar with this one. Number 37 coming up, but just showing that you're divinely guided and protected, and being encouraged to stay in this abundant mindset, because when you're in the abundant mindset, that's when you're really in your power. And there can be a negative connotation to power, but you really are in power when you're being true to yourself and you're living your highest path for the good of all. So spirit really wants that, because that's what's going to uplift not just you, your life, your spirit, but likely collective humanity. Like, it's bigger than just us, because we are more than just us, you know? It's like the more we go inward, the more our reality reflects, you know, what I'm getting tired, y'all. Um, but it's just that whole mirror analogy where, like, my spiritual practice of going within is helping me see all of the abundance outside of me, because I'm seeing the abundance and infinite potential within myself. So therefore I'm seeing it outside of myself also. Um, all right, and to kind of close up, so through patience, balance, self-compassion, compassion for others, we have number 44, women holding a heart. And I do feel called to read this one from the book. So we have that, which I will read. All right, so women holding a heart. And it says female dealing with family, love, or emotion. Card wears a butterfly in her hair and holds a lovely large heart in her hands. For a woman, this card upright could be a reflection of your own state of peaceful emotion and receptivity for love, or it might be a message that your family issues are going to resolve. Whew, I just got chills. You're an intuitive woman who understands the emotions of life, and you're bringing that awareness to all that you do. This card upright could also indicate the presence of a female friend, teacher, or confidant who's here to help with issues of love, family, or emotion. This is an even tempered and caring person who resonates with you and your emotions. This could also portend a new love interest or friend coming your way. Let me see. And then the affirmation is I am emotionally calm and peaceful, and I attract healthy and stable people to me. I'll say that again. I am emotionally calm and peaceful, and I attract healthy and stable people to me. I definitely feel like that was a message for me. I hope it was for you too. I know it was. But yeah, butterflies could also be a synchronicity for you. That's a huge one for me. In fact, I'm wearing a pair of green butterfly wing earrings that I just found today. And there's some gold in there too. But butterflies represent transformation, being that caterpillar transforming into this beautiful butterfly that flies and ascends. And for me personally, that is, a symbol I have for certain loved ones in my family who have passed also. So you could have a synchronicity with it being a sign from a loved one, also a sign of transformation. But this is really, to me, affirming the message here of what we've been talking about, which is amazing. And the last card I had pulled in this reading was number 28, and it reads Victory. I love how my camera just got brighter when I put her up there so you could really see that better. So we have this woman with gold painting on her face, wearing a gold crown. There's lots of gold and blue and purple energy in this. Um, so yeah, all the different chakras associated with that. So we have the solar plexus, personal power for gold. We have the throat chakra, speaking your truth, using your voice. Purple is that crown chakra, so connection to spirit. There's also that spiral energy, which we were talking about earlier, also. Yeah, lots of detailed synchronicities in here. So I'm going to read this one as well, and then we will close out. All right, victory, success. This card shows a beautiful spirit holding a golden victory wreath in acknowledgement of your achievement. Success is on its way, and you have a sense of pride in what you've worked to accomplish. The achievement may be a great outer success, or it may be a deep inner change that you've been exerting a lot of effort towards. Excuse me. Enjoy this sense of accomplishment, but be careful not to rest upon your laurels. People expect outer triumph to bring great changes, but often there may still be inner work to do. Let yourself be open to victory on every level now. Wow. Okay, let's go to the affirmation. I'm achieving great things within myself and in the world. I see myself as a success in many wonderful ways, even now. I'll read that again. I'm achieving great things within myself and in the world. I see myself as a success in many wonderful ways, even now. I love it. That I just got chills, confirmation chills. Yeah, that's really ties this perfectly with a bow. We were talking about how that over and over again song I was speaking to, just like how you feel like, no, I have healed that wound and here it is coming up. And instead of being frustrated and feeling like you're taking two steps back, You're saying, oh, this is like a new layer for me to work through, to learn and grow from, to ascend from. And honoring yourself and being proud of yourself and knowing that you are doing the work. And through balance, connection, there are endless possibilities and abundance waiting for you to tap into. And I know you're already tapping into it and you're seeing it, which is so exciting. And yeah, I just welcome you to really take action in where you're being called by your intuition. For me, that's been starting this YouTube channel, which is like way outside my comfort zone, but here I am because I can't not share my voice in this way anymore. Like, I just kept getting all the nudges from the universe, and it was just like this constant, like, when are you gonna do it? When are you gonna do it? And it's like, I'm doing it. Like, I can't not do it anymore. So that's where I'm at. Also, just to give you some ideas too, because sometimes it can feel like, the expectation, like I need to do something like so like, powerful and amazing for humanity. And it's like, no, start with a small thing. Like small is big. Like everything's everything, right? So convoluted, so beautiful, love it. But for me, like I was being called to take action and using my voice and expressing my authentic self because throughout my upbringing, I had shut certain aspects of that down and made myself small in those ways. And that's why, like, stepping into my Leo, my sun energy was really challenging for me. Um, and ways I started to tap into my self expression. And I think for all of us, like, self expression is so valuable. So maybe, like, you're not feeling the pings from, your higher self. I'm sure I'm sure for everyone, I'm sure you are feeling the pings from your higher self because you're divinely tuned in, but just everyone in general should feel empowered to express themselves freely because that's what is sharing their divine gifts with this world. That's why we were brought here, is to be our authentic selves and discover who that is and gain confidence and knowing who we are. And for me, just to give you some ideas, and I think honestly, it's like I say, I'll just give you some ideas, but it's like, no, it's broader. And that's why I feel called to do these recordings because it's like I have my experiences, but then it is so like everyone can relate to this, right? So why not share like, our experiences? But what I was getting at is really listening, sitting with your inner child. And that has been such a journey for me. Really sitting with your inner child. What did you love to do when you were a kid? What did you love to do that you eventually felt shut down by doing? And so you stopped doing it. Start doing those things again. Like, I invite you, like, look up, do inner child meditations. There's so many free resources out there. Um, and everything is within you already, so you can just sit with yourself and just start writing. And yeah, there's so many different ways you can tap into your inner child and really listen to them and hear what they need. And through that is how you're going to, at least in my case, find out like, because I, for the longest time, felt like I felt like something was missing in my life. And I realized it was me not tapping into my truest form of expression. And I will finally share with you. I keep going on these little side trails, but um, for me, that has looked like doing different artistic things. And I had a difficult relationship with identifying as an artist or a creative for the longest time. again, things I enjoyed as a kid, and for whatever reason, I shut that down and put up blocks. And now it's like I put up blocks around my heart, and now I'm like releasing that so my true self can express itself, herself, their self. Um, so for instance, like ridding yourself of any expectation of what something needs to look like and just being in flow with whatever comes through. Um, so that could be like, so for art, I've really gotten into collaging. So different magazines, stickers, my own writings, quotes, anything. Um, just you can go in with an intention to, I just want to see what comes out. That's what I do a lot because it's like, why do I want to limit what comes through? Like, just higher self, show me what's up, you know? And then I mean, my image for this YouTube channel was actually a collage I had done. And I didn't know why I was drawn to certain things. I was just doing it. And there's actually soul collage is a thing. Um, I know there's like courses and stuff on it. I didn't do that. It's really just collaging intuitively is what it is. And if you do want to have like, you know, if you do want to set a specific intention that's not as broad as just like, you know, higher self, tell me what I need to know, what I need to create to, you know, be of my highest healing and good in this moment. It could be like, what does my work identity look like? What does my romantic identity look like? What does my identity look like? You know, there's so many different things you can ask. We actually did this as a work activity, and that was really sweet to see everyone show up how they did. So that's an example. Also, journaling. I from a young age, I was like, I'm going to be an author. Like, I just felt so connected to writing. And then for whatever reason, unknowingly, I just kind of gradually pushed that down and didn't think about it or didn't like pursue anything with that, not even for fun. And within the past year, I started to write more. Um, it honestly was kind of intimidating to get back into writing. And it's just like removing expectations is so nice because that's really when you're opening the channel to just have whatever come out, come out. Whatever expression of self is showing up, great. Like that's you being authentic, which is wonderful. To help with journaling, you could do a prompt. I recently started reading poetry and then just like I went to a class and they read a poem, and I had done this before on my own here and there, but it was really nice being in community with others. So the instructor, you know, read a poem, and a common poem for this kind of activity is I Am From. The poem is called I Am From. I can't remember who it's by offhand, but um and ooh, I actually, sorry guys, I know this is long, but it's like I have my journal here that I took, so I'm feeling called to read this because I feel like it could be helpful for you to expand on your identity, and your way of expressing yourself because it doesn't have to be finite. Um, okay. Where is it? I will find it. Maybe this is the universe saying you don't need to share it. Okay. Guys, I'm sorry. I'm just so fixated on this thing. Wow, I've been doing a lot of writing. I got it. Okay. So the instructor read the poem I Am From, and basically the guidance was, I mean, listen to the poem, see what resonates. But when you're writing, the goal is to write for, and you can do whatever parameters you want. You don't even have to have parameters around it. But for this class, she did. So the guidance was she's going to read the poem twice. And after she was done reading, a theme we could go back to is I am. And whenever we're feeling like stuck, just go back to I am and see what comes through. Um, and the goal is to just continuously write for 10 minutes. So don't put any roadblocks up. Just let whatever comes out come out. It doesn't matter if you think it's good or bad, just let it out. Because through that is how you can do channeled writing also, by the way. So I'm feeling called to read mine just to kind of share with you because it's not very long. But yeah, it just kind of demonstrates you are everything really, which is tied into what we've been talking about. But okay. I am enough. The question that gently burns in the back of my mind from ages 3, 6, 12, 15, 21, 24, 27, and 31. My childhood self, I see her curled up in bed, crying, wishing she knew then that in years' time when this would happen, she would feel the ping. This is a different film, I'm sorry. She would feel the ping from that Google searched question, how to stop crying. She would see that she was not alone. The responses would build this community around her where she felt safe to use her voice. On good days, she would embody her truest expression. Through crafts, gifts, dramatic skits with her brother, she felt free in those moments. Am I enough? She would wonder when her mom focused more on her brothers, when her accomplishments were expected, taken for granted for her. Then there were those memories of those celebratory choir concerts, track events, livened up by an Oreo blizzard from DQ, where the ice cream would just slightly melt away from its base when held upside down. Perfection. I am seeing how that visual of a blizzard was enough, even though it wasn't as frozen as promised. Am I enough? When my future mother in law asked what kind of cake I wanted for my birthday, I said an Oreo ice cream cake from DQ. I have chosen myself. I am enough. Through knowing both things can be true to believing in the truth that I am. So that was a different poem she read, but that's funny because that was very fitting to what I had shared with you about me sharing my voice and just, yeah, I feel like that really, for me, is resonating. I'm sorry, y'all, this is long, but I did want to share with you that I am from example, just because it gets out there and it's amazing. Um, so this is a different one. And again, this is just like writing for 10 minutes and seeing what comes out. So it's not perfect, but neither are we, and that's beautiful. So I am from the earth's depths, the water that flows beside the meadows. I am from the big oak tree that lives by the Willamette River, her banks that I rest on, and I look up and wonder, and I look up to wonder, are just down the road from me where I am from. The yellow house with the apple, pear, and cherry trees, gifting me with her fruits. I am from the green office chair that houses my bum and supports my back. I am from the typing fingers and clenched hands. I am from the leaders around me and those from within. I am from the magic spells that Merlin casts, lovingly onto those who know to ask. I am from the hills in Scotland, her greenery reflected in my eyes, her red hair within my veins as our creative flow paves the way. I am from my mother, whose womb is hardest for me to know. I have her poise, an ethereal mind, a gift I only saw the darkness in. I am from the thoughts that stir within and those that vanish in a blip. I am from the sinking ships and shooting stars, from Venus and sirens on the ocean's bay. I am the beck to your call. No, I am the beck to my call, in service of self to serve others. I am from the healers long ago and from the healers yet to come. I am. I know I fumbled a bit there in the beginning on my handwriting. But yeah, I just wanted to demonstrate I am from, like, I really encourage you to write about where you're from. It can be from the coffee grounds from your morning brew. You can be from, the morning dew grass in your backyard as you're drinking said coffee. Like, you take it wherever, and it helps kind of click, if it hasn't already, that we are divinely connected to everything. Everything is energy. We're energy. So, anyway, I know this is a very long recording. I'm so happy it worked out to record fully. I was using a different app and it kept glitching out, and I had to keep recording, but here I am. But yeah, I just love the message that came through, really looking at how can we find balance within ourselves on our spiritual journey, because that's the most important thing. That's what's healthy for us, something I'm working through myself, and it's a constant thing. But just remembering to care for yourself, listen to your body, mind, and spirit, follow your intuition, and keep being the amazing, authentic you, because the world needs you. So thank you for being here.